Welcome to the Superman Fast, taking the fear out of fasting. I'm here with two special guests, two amazing individuals in the industry of health and wellness. They're going to let you know what it's all about. They're going to answer your questions. This is about your questions, this is about your fears and making you understand that there's nothing to fear when it comes to fasting, when it comes to wellness. Let me introduce.
So my name's Elliot Timothy Harlin-Bethell, and amongst other things, I'm a storyteller and energy worker and a master faster.
My name is Daniel Dzikowski, and I'm an emotional empowerment coach where I teach people to face and release their stuck emotional energies.
So guys, what this is all about is just having a conversation. We're asking questions that we believe that you want the answers to. And we're here with Elliot, and Elliot is an amazing individual. He goes in deep. Trust me, there's not many people that I've seen that goes in deep like this gentleman here. I want you guys, after understanding, to contact Elliot and get involved with what Elliot's doing, because he's doing remarkable things. And if you want health, and if you want well-being, and if you want to change yourself like he changed himself, you're going to hear his story. Elliot, please.
So you can find me at mindbodysoulspiritcoach@gmail.com. You can also find me at the same Instagram page and the same YouTube page. So yeah, feel free to drop me a message or to get in contact through the Superman Fast, because we're going to be doing some collaborations and working together, and you're going to get a really good idea of what we're all about and how we're trying to bring this to the masses now. So I thank you, Hawks and Daniel, for giving me the opportunity to be here today.
My pleasure.
Guys, it's about our world. We're coming together. There's so much of us out there, and we're going to find every single person. We're going to bring them together, and we're going to change this world, because the world's been lying to us, and we're going to take away the lie and bring in the truth. So Elliot, please tell us how you got involved with fasting.
So it's a very interesting one. I was very much on the party scene. I had a little bit of a breakdown. There was one particular week where I spent just under £3,000 on cocaine, and I wasn't at a point where I was going to commit suicide, but I thought if I want a way out, this is the way I'm going to take it, because I'm just going to enjoy myself until I let go and I'm gone. And I got to 7 days without food, water, sleep, and just drugs. And I started to realize that I was here for a purpose, and that maybe until I completed this purpose, I wasn't going anywhere. It was like, you've got this job to do, and until you've done it, you're not going anywhere, mate. And I probably spent another £1,000 that week. And I got to rock bottom, and I realized that once I was at rock bottom, I was going to go even deeper. So where people would have normally stopped, I decided that I was going to go to here, because there's no coming back from this. When you put an arrow back on a bow and arrow, the further you pull it back into its darkness, the further you're going to shoot into your light. So I took myself into the depths of my darkness to a point where there was no coming back again. And I decided to start doing some breath work and some meditation. And meditation was a very, very difficult one for myself, because I was constantly trying to keep myself distracted with girls, with drugs, with cinema, with cars, with all these sorts of things that we generally too try to distract ourselves with. And I booked myself into a 3-hour Zen meditation in Lewisham, and I tried to climb out the window and walk out the door, because I thought these people were absolutely nuts, and every inch of my body just wanted to get up and leave, because my mind was racing. But after sticking with it, I found so much peace within myself that I rather would sit at home and chill in my own space and my own energy than to go out and spend a lot of time partying with people. So it's such two different polarities and two different extremes, that what I started to realize was that duality is actually oneness, that polarity is warmth and cold, and darkness and light, and masculine and feminine, and positive and negatives. They're polarities, but they meet in the middle, and it's all about balance and bringing ourselves back to that point. And then realizing that if we want to go off and play in the naughty stuff for a little while, we can go off and play in the naughty stuff. We've got to come back to balance. And sometimes we come back to balance by going back into this side and then bringing it back to balance. But I was spending way too much time over here in the naughty stuff. So fasting's helped me very much with that. I hope that.
Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Listen, I'm signed up. I don't know about you, but trust me, like, this is an individual, he's opened himself. Everything he said covers everything that anyone could be going through. He wanted to take his own life, but instead he learned how to gain life, and now he's giving life. So please, it's like I said, come contact Elliot, get involved, because he deals with everything that you're going to need in your life. Please, Daniel.
So with regards to fasting, why would you say it's so important? Why for you is it important? Why do you think people should get into it? Because most people, when they hear about fasting, they immediately sort of, it's something that they don't want to do. It's something that it's tough. It's, why fast? What's the whole point? What kind of advice would you give?
My first fast, as you've seen my personality and you've got to know me a bit better now, my first fast was actually 7 days without food or water or contact with water, because I saw a guy on the internet coaching people, and he talked about some girls that have done 3 days without food and water, dry fasting, and how that when we get into the 72-hour period of autophagy, we start to utilize all the weak cells and all the negative cells as energy. Now, I cover it on a spiritual side, on a mental side, a physical side, and emotional side. And you guys really work on the emotional side and the physical side. And I started to really look into the depths of it. And there's reasons why Muhammad did it. There's reasons why Buddha did it. There's reasons why Jesus did it. Because it takes us out of our normal paradigm, our normal program, and it raises our frequency. Because when we eat food, that food is dense. It's cellular energy. And that cellular energy, some yogis will not let their children eat apples if it's been given to them by someone that's angry, because that apple will then contain some of that anger energy. And this is why we say grace around food, because grace and gratitude are one of the highest vibrations there is. I'm getting little tingles in my head when I'm talking about gratitude. But when we say grace around our food, that's in our aura, that's in our energy field, that's in our torus. So it's wiping clean some of the negativity of the food that we're just about to eat. And the more we say thanks for it, whenever I have any food, I always say gratitude to the person that's got that food to my plate, to the person that's cooked it, to the earth for growing it, to the sun, to the water. All of these things then have a little bit of a ripple of effect of energy, because you're sending out gratitude to them, and that comes back to you. Because sending out negative energy takes energy away from you, but sending out positive energy, that energy comes back to you threefold. So it's about sending out that positive energy. But the reason I do fast is because I'm actually going through a fast myself at the moment. I'm just about to start 5 days dry fasting, and we store memory in water, like camels store water in their humps, and this water is stored for emergencies. And when we go into the recesses of this, we use this water that's stored in there, and there's emotions in this water. Now, it's been shown that water actually stores a lot of memory. There's a book called The Effects of Sound on Water by Masaru Emoto. I'd highly recommend you check it out. How water can change in structure, molecular structure, when you speak to it, and when you write things and place it on the water, it changes the structure of the water. Now, we're 72% water, and some of this memory can be held from an age of 4 years old, when we say are told off for doing something. Oh, don't do that, and your aura goes in, and because you've created a strong emotion and a feeling around that, you take that in, and that's stored in the water and the memory in your body. Now, what I've found for the last 4 or 5 years working with people is you can get rid of some of that stored memory by fasting. Up to 72 hours, you start to really go into the recesses of this. Now, if I'm someone washing dishes in a kitchen, and people are bringing dirty dishes in all the time, I'm washing dishes as fast as I can, but there's a pile of dishes here that never gets used because I'm washing these dishes. This is what happens with some of the stored memory in the body. But when we fast and we get to 72 hours, it's like, bang, we get rid of that, and we get rid of that emotion. And in my fasts, you're going to be going through it in May, which I'm really looking forward to experiencing your fast and exchanging some notes. But I get guys to take 2-litre bottles of water and to charge them with affirmations like, I'm prosperous, I'm healthy, I'm joyful. So that on the final day, we've got rid of a lot of our old emotions, and then we drink this new water. It's like taking a hard drive out of a computer and putting a new hard drive in, because computers are actually being built now with water as hard drives, because they store so much, water stores so much memory. So for me, it's not just about a physical thing. Obviously you do look great and your skin starts to shine. After 3 days, I get people saying to me, wow, you look alive, you look so vibrant, your vibration raises, because you have less dense foods in you. You become lighter and you start to ascend and to shine brighter.
Actually, what I want to ask, and I don't know about you guys, is my daughter, she's 14 years of age, and when I tell her about stuff similar to what you're talking about, she says, Dad, that's hoobly-doo. What would you say to someone, because this is very esoteric stuff, what would you say to someone who says that? How would you? Yeah.
I'd say to them, until you've walked in a man's shoes, you can't actually comment. And a lot of people aren't experiencing these things because of the fear. And that's what we're here today to help people get over. If there's a news channel that's trying to push for you that you've got to go to shopping to Sainsbury's or to Tesco's to buy food all the time, instead of growing your own natural foods, which are actually going to have more energy for you because they've been in your aura, they've been in your energy field, so that's going to have more nutrients that are for you. These people are their industries. We need to step back and start doing things that are for us as a community, for people. We're all a community, but we've been disconnected from that through, I call it television is, if you split it into words, it's telling lies in vision. It's programming. So it's like people are being programmed to go out and buy shit they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't even really like. And that's a quote from Fight Club. But I found that very, very, a quote that is so right now. People are just what I was 5 years ago. I was going out buying Rolexes, buying cars, buying all these things when I had my business to impress people I didn't even know. And it was like such a waste of energy. When I lost all those things, I felt so depleted. Those things actually owned me. But now I realise you can have these things, but you have to realise that they're just they're an extension of you. They're not you. When you build this up with inside, things start to come to you. There are circumstances, events, environments, and people like we're coming together now. To get this across to more people, they start falling into place with synchronicity, because synchronicity is meaningful experience. It's not coincidence. Coincidence doesn't exist. It's cause and effect. It's basic cause and effect. It's karma. It's law of attraction. These are all the same things. Karma is when you do something, it comes back to you. Law of attraction, when you send out a thought with a powerful emotion, you draw that to you. This is people are stepping into Dharma now, and Dharma is life purpose. So once you've overcome karma and you realise cause and effect, you don't create, you don't predict the future, you create it.
Have you overcome karma?
I was actually, if I was to do my numerology reading, I'm actually one of the very few people that's born with zero karmic debt. But I did rack up a lot of karmic debt at some point, which I've been working through and getting through myself. So
what about you, Hawks?
I've actually overcome karma. Because if karma was still in my life, I wouldn't be here. Because if you call it debt, then I'm the biggest debtor or ower of it. You know, so so for me, I know, people always say, what goes around comes around. But I say what goes around is to teach you so you don't come around. And you help those not also go all the way around. You know what is, it's amazing what you're saying, and I really want to simplify things for everyone. I want you to explain to us, what challenges do you have living your lifestyle? How difficult is it? Because sometimes we hear all these words, all these terminologies, and we think it's beyond us. But it's not. These are very simple things, they have very simple meanings. I want you to, how difficult is it to live your life?
So this, what I'm talking to you about today, was completely new to me 3 years ago. I picked up a book and started reading about chakras, and I was like, what the hell is all this ancient mystical Indian stuff? Like, this is fairy tale shit. But once I started to I felt drawn to it. And like maybe you guys that have come here today, you guys that are here today for a reason. You've been drawn here through a vibrational frequency. It's cause and effect. So this might be the first step for you looking into this, but I'm getting shivers now saying this. So very much so. Just experience it, and once that seed's been planted, just start watering it a little bit every day, because all you need to do is water something very small amount every day, and within 3 weeks you have a whole tree. It can be complicated at the beginning, and I experienced this, but even just listening to it, when you don't understand it, it goes into your subconscious. So the subconscious, many people have been saying we work from the subconscious 90% of the time. But the subconscious is most subjectable first 20 minutes when we get up in the morning, and the last 20 minutes before we go to bed. So if we say our affirmations are likened to prayer. If we say our prayers or affirmations like, I am healthy, I'm prosperous, I'm joyful, I am love. If we say these things and write them down, the 20 minutes when we first get up and the 20 minutes last before we go to bed, generally we're in a theta brainwave around this time, which means the subconscious is more accessible. Again, I've overcomplicated things there a little bit, but if you was to do these things first thing in the morning and last thing at night, your subconscious stays awake 24 hours a day, whereas your conscious mind sleeps while you sleep. So it's almost like a team of helpers that you have that go and prepare this for you the next day. And the more you realize this, the more help you get, because the more gratitude and thanks you give yourself for this and your subconscious, the more it helps you. Just like if when we help each other, the more grateful we are to each other, the more we help each other.
And you know, I'm very grateful for that answer, because world, you're just giving you a secret. Just speak into your life. Just very simple. Say what you want to become in the morning, and say what you want to become in the evening. That's all. That's how you start. You know, I overeat. I need to stop. I'm addicted to this. I'm addicted to that. My lifestyle's this. Just say what you want to become. I want to become better in the morning. I want to become better in the evening. You'll see that alone, that affirmation will come to life one day. Thank you for that. Because you know something, that is the beginning of a journey. Thank you, sorry.
I thought I was going to say, but I think when you say what you say, what you want to become in the morning, what happens when you don't really believe it? Because this is, you know, you say this, but a lot of our people watching this are going to think, you're telling me to say, I feel amazing, and yet I don't. You're telling me to say I feel great, and yet I don't. So, you know, what would you say to someone that said that?
For me, it's because I was one of those people. I would say things that it was beyond my reach, and I didn't believe it. But the more you say it, you start to see traits in yourself, because sometimes instead of just thinking it, speak it. There is power in word. And that word creates and changes, because it's actually what you're saying. People remind you, oh, remember you said ABC. People call you, there's a documentary to do with that. People remind you, before you know it, you start becoming what you're saying. So it can be shallow. It can be so shallow, but just the fact that you say it, that you declare it, in ourselves, it gives us something. It plants a seed, and you constantly water it by continuously saying it, and it will grow. As you said, a few weeks it must grow.
Yeah. So for me as well, it's once you speak it, the more you speak it, the more feeling you start to get. The more feeling you start to get, the more it becomes. When we go to school and we learn these words, we're learning spelling. So we're casting spells whenever we're talking. Whenever you talk, you're saying a spell. You're creating magic, and you're creating your reality. So the more we say it, and the more we put the feeling into it, the feeling comes, and then it starts to solidify. Because what we've done is we've created it in the non-physical, and once you've created it in the non-physical, we then start to match the vibration of it. And then once we match the vibration of it, it brings it into the physical. So it goes from, there's expressions I'm going to use, which you'll probably start coming into the terminology, which is it comes from the 5D into the 3D. So we build it in the 5D, and then we draw it into the 3D. 3D reality is here, 2D is this level, 3D is this, 4D is when we add time.
So would 5D be like your thoughts, your thinking, and your emotions, or is it a level beyond that as well?
So in 5D we can still stay physical and non-physical. If we go 60, 70, 80, 90, 12D, we're then bridging non-physical. There's many people that spend time with one foot in one world and one foot in another world. So shamans can step in and out, of bring energies in and out from these two worlds. This is what we've been working on. This is what I've been working on for the last 5 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can hear, the Matrix is real. You know, the three of us live in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Come and join us in the Matrix, because trust me, this world is upside down. It's only when you become upside down you start walking in the right way. You know, we've been lied to a lot, especially when it comes to our health, when it comes to food, when it comes to medicine. You know what, I want to pose a question to both of you. Please, Daniel, answer it first. But how can we take the fear away from fasting and well-being?
I mean, I think the traditional way is to educate ourselves of what actually it is, because often, you know, what we hear about fasting is that it's a scary thing. It doesn't help us. It harms our body. But in reality, we have fasted when we were very young. You know, when we were many years ago, fasting was a way of life. The hunter-gatherer stage. This is where, you know, we fasted all the time. But in answer to your question, I think most of it is to do with actually experiencing it. When we actually take that journey, face our fears and say, okay, I'm going to do it. The fear is there and I'm going to do it anyway. And for me, that is one of the most important things that you can do, is just to go through the fear, allow it to come up, and then we can do these things. We can take that journey of fasting, and all of a sudden we start to see that what we were told about fasting isn't true, right? And each you guys have done longer fasts than I have done, and more intense fasts. So you know this. You start to see a truth that you didn't see before, a different kind of vision of life, a different perspective, and you start to realize you're more empowered. Actually, I felt that as well through my fasting, that once I go through that really challenging stage, then all of a sudden this huge empowerment comes. I start to see things clearly, and you realize then, well, actually it's so much more powerful and so much more beneficial than I was taught. Everyone should know about this. So I don't know what you guys think about this.
I'd like to share a perspective on that. I mean, in the Bible, when Adam eats the apple and he descended into losing his innocence, what I find is when we eat food, we become more dense. And I've said this about how it's cellular memory. So when we fast from food, our body raises in vibration because we're not taking on an energy outside of us. In the Bible as well, it says, as within, so without. So when Hawks was saying about this world we've been lied to, but we've accepted that lie. And it's time to now not accept that lie, because nothing outside of us has any power over us. We have all the power within us. Everything we need is within us. There's another saying that says, when you clean the inside of the cup, the outside of the cup becomes clean. So it's time to start cleaning the inside of this cup, because then you're going to see the outside of the cup starts becoming clean. Because when we raise the vibration of this, our energy field sends that out, and then we draw higher energy fields to us. So this is my personal experience, that when I've done 7 days without food or water, my maximum is 14 days without food or water, and I've done 40 days with just water and juice like yourself, and that was phenomenal. I mean, you start to see things on a completely different perspective because you're tuned into a higher vibrational frequency. Nikola Tesla talks about 3, 6, and 9, and I have all sorts of theories around this, but I'll get into that on another date. But when we learn about energy, vibration, and frequency, we are an energy, and we are vibrating at a level of frequency, and that level of frequency is chosen by our thoughts and feelings. So ultimately, when we raise that vibrational frequency, we experience and see things at a higher vibrational frequency. We have events, environments, and circumstances surrounding us of a higher vibrational frequency. But if we're constantly eating low vibrational foods, like for me personally, my journey with veganism started 3 years ago, because what I found was I was anxious and depressed, and a lot of my anxious and depression, I was looking at the meat that I was eating, which is pumped full of steroids, and that animal's watching its mum getting killed. So that meat that I'm eating is anxious and depressed. So now when I'm eating that vibration, if I'm a DVD player and I put a horror film in me, I'm going to project a horror film. But if I put a romantic comedy into me, I'm going to project a romantic comedy. So now I start looking at this meat and I'm thinking, that meat is anxious and depressed when I'm eating it. Why am I not thinking that I've got to process this anxiety and this fear? That's why I'm feeling it. And I went vegan, and within 3 months, I started eating healthier, cleaner foods and being more grateful for my food. And my whole life just went like that. And the whole anxiety and depression just went completely. Because it's my belief that anxiety is being worried about things in the future, and depression is about worrying things in the past. So when we make these realizations and we start, everything becomes very simple for me when I fast, because things become clearer. You start connecting the dots a lot easier. Whereas when I'm eating food all the time, I'm constantly distracted and I'm looking for my keys and dropping things. And for me, it's just a lot more sense of connection to source and clarity. And we've spoken about this before.
That is, you've heard it, guys. You know, is my answer to that question, how to take the fear away from fasting, from wellness. As Nike says, just do it. It's simple. Just do it. Just try a day, half a day, 2 days, 3 days. Listen, no one is greater than the other because they've done 100 days, they've done this. All it is that we gain more experience. We gain more understanding of the same revelation we have from the first fast. You have a revelation in the first fast, but it goes deeper the more you fast. The more you get into it, the more revelation you have. You know what is? He said it, Elliot said it. Simplify your body. You know what is we have to learn to appreciate everything that's around us. The animals that surround us, because they have emotions. They have situations. And we've got to also look like You know, why are they going through certain things and why should we consume them? I still consume meat. I like meat. One day, one of the things I speak is that I will go to veganism. I speak that. And I laugh about it because I love meat. do you understand?
I was there 3 years ago, brother.
Exactly.
I was there.
And I speak it now, and I'm saying it now because I'm speaking it. And then I'm sure other people can now say to me and call me and say, Hawks, True Hawk Spirit, you should do ABC. This may help you. Think about it this way. Meditate in this way. People are going to help me. My world is going to help me to achieve my goal because I speak it.
Yeah.
You know,
Very much so.
Elliot, is there a question you would like to ask?
I'm really glad you said that, because I had a falling out with a friend of mine who was vegan 3 years ago, and I said to him, man, we're designed to eat meat. And I was in the gym and I did bodybuilding for a while. I was 16 stone and 5% body fat. And he said to me, oh no, we're not designed to eat meat. And I was like, we've been eating meat for years and years. And I started looking into it, and I saw him at an event probably about 2 years later. And I said to him, brother, I'm pescatarian. I only eat fish now. And he was like, I told you, mate. He went, you'll give up fish within the next 2 weeks. No word of a lie. Within 2 weeks, I gave up fish. And I still managed to stay in just as good a shape, because I now believe that proteins, fats and carbs were just a template that were put out there for us to think, if we eat this and this and this, then we give our energy to it and we put on weight, and then there's certain medicines you buy, and it's a whole nother story, but it's very complex. But I'll get into that another time with you guys.
So I actually have a question, and it may be a bit unusual question for both of you. About 20 years ago, I came across the teachings of a spiritual teacher called Lester Levinson, who was given 3 weeks to die. The doctor told him, you've got a heart condition, you've got 3 weeks to live. 3 weeks to live, not 3 weeks. And he started releasing his emotions. And what he found was basically he needed less and less food to eat. So the dense emotions that he carried, he started releasing them, and he found, now I no longer need food. So based on what you know about fasting, would you think it's possible that at some level that food isn't required because we're able to get that energy from another source, a different source? And I know this seems completely out there to the average person. I know, yeah. But do you think that's possible at some level? And if this is what we're going to find out, that there's a greater truth towards fasting, towards food, than we could ever perhaps know is possible. Do you want to open this?
No, we've spoken about this before, and you mentioned something.
So I'm currently recording a 14-part program for people to access. So it's on my Mind, Body, Soul, Spirit website when that's created. But it's going to be a 7-day fast which tapers you in and then tapers you out. And within this, I talk about how we're not designed to eat at a frequency of 3 times a day, and it's split into mornings, afternoons and evenings, because we have 3 brains. We have a brain here, a brain in the heart and a brain in the stomach. And I've seen this on your website as well, so we're very much in agreement with this. But when we're constantly fogging this one and filling this one up, we're not getting the right signals and messages to this one. So this one doesn't work with pure clarity when we're filling this one up with chemicals all the time, especially considering the food that most people eat today isn't even food. It's crap. And they use terminology like citric acid to make you think that it's made out of fruits, but that stuff's black mold. And they put that in a lot of fruit juices, they put it in a lot of foods. We need to get more savvy about what we're eating, because we're buying a fruit juice to alkalize our bodies, and then we're finding it's got citric acid in it, it's got black mold in it. It's like, what? We need to start either making our own juices. But I believe ultimately, I got to a stage now where I generally tend to eat once a day, a frequency of 1 time a day. So if you're eating, say, a window period of 1 till 6, that's 6 hours you're eating, that's 18 hours you're fasting. That means your body's getting to utilize all of that energy and come back to source. Whereas if you're constantly putting food in it, you're never your purest self. But when you give yourself that time to work through all of that, you connect yourself with source again, you become your highest self. It's like your soul can reconnect. I find that when we're overloading our bodies with food, especially alcohol, the term alcohol means demon or flesh-eating spirit. Vodka is called spirits. There is a theory by Yogananda, who done an autobiography of a yogi, one of Steve Jobs' favorite books, that when we drink alcohol, the spirit becomes very weak, or the energy body becomes very weak, and it's like a negative energy or a demonic spirit can jump in and take your body for a joyride. Now, this is in Autobiography of a Yogi, and this was written over like 80, 90, 100 years ago. I see very, very similar sorts of things, and I start to notice this with energy and how looking into astral projection and energy body work and emotional body work, we need to become more aware as the physical self is not, we're not just the physical self, we're actually spiritual beings having a physical experience, not physical beings having a spiritual experience. Once we start to realize this, it's my belief that we can metabolize light as our main energy source. I have done 14 days without food or water, and I do know people that have done over a year without food or water now. And these people have done studies where the pores in your skin will actually start to open up and draw moisture out of your surroundings as long as you're in a humidity, an environment with the right humidity, that their bladders will start to fill up with urine, but they won't actually go to the toilet because their bodies will utilize this for energy. It's my goal to be the first breatharian for a period of time that doesn't lose weight. I'd done a recording on YouTube where I did 20 days without food and water and said I wouldn't lose any weight, and I only lost 3 pounds. I then went on to do a 5-day fast, exactly the same, where I said I'd lose a stone in weight and I lost 11 pounds. So this shows you by utilizing different other forms of energy, like sun gazing, like earthing, like powerful affirmations, and by changing up the subconscious mind. If we get anything into this subconscious mind, it will be expressed. So if we impress it into the subconscious, it's expressed into our reality. So once we impress that we don't need as much food, it's then impressed into our reality. So yeah, the answer to the question is, I believe that if we choose to, we can survive on light as a purest form of energy, but only if we choose to, because we're all here to create. We're all creators, and if we want to create, I don't look at anybody who eats meat and think, I shouldn't be eating meat, because if you're eating that meat in the most respectful way to that animal, I'm all for you eating that meat. I've got no problem with it. But the way we're eating meat today that's packaged and fed full of growth hormones and stuff, I'm not in agreement with it, if I'm honest. But
okay, thank you. What about you, Hawks? What do you think? Do you think it's possible to actually work with your body in such a way where you don't actually need food?
Yes, and we're already doing it. It's not in the future. It's already started. Because what this individual went through is when you are life or death, your body speaks to you, especially if your mind is clear and tells you what you need. It tells you that to heal itself, you must stop food. Let the digestive system rest so that the body can be healed. Our bodies concentrate too much on digestion because we consume all the time. We keep consuming. Our bodies are designed to heal itself. You know, what I've been teaching people is the same way you service your car, you must service your body. Doesn't matter how much your car is, your private jet, your submarine if you have one. Everything must. I've got a black one, he's got a red one. I do. But it doesn't matter, it must be serviced. It's simple. Everything that is created in this world comes from the design of the inspiration of us as human beings. So what is that if we create things and we realize we must service it, why don't we service ourselves? Now, you know, animals, when they're injured, when they're sick, they choose not to eat. When we go to the hospital, we don't feel like eating. We lose our appetite for a reason, because your body is trying to heal itself. But we are forced with food. So we're forced with things that's actually damaging us more than healing us. You know, the best way to heal yourself is to fast. The best way to deal with viruses is to fast. Take the food away from the disease. Starve the disease, and the disease will die. You will not die, but the disease will die. The problem will die. The emotions will die.
Yeah, that's what autophagy does, isn't it? It's the whole principle of autophagy.
So I know you always try telling me to simplify things, but one of the ways I see this is our 7 main energy centers. We're talking about chakras earlier. Yeah. So we have 7 main energy centers, and they go red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and this is the colors of the rainbow. Now, so that means we are light. We're pure light vibrating at a level of frequency. Now, when we're ill, all we need is water and sunlight. What creates a rainbow? Water and sunlight. So when we're ill, if you just go water and sunlight, bang, your energy centers go ping, 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 and you start vibrating at that level, you become full of energy again. Getting tingles again, speaking of that. So
the Superman fast we fast and train every day. When I done my 40-day fast, only food, no water, I trained every day. You know, I was called to give an example while fasting 3-4 days into my fast, to give an example of what it says in the Bible. Man does not live by bread alone, but by the power of the Holy Spirit. World, your spirit is greater than you understand. It's bigger than you know. It's more than bread, it's more than nutriments, it's more than steaks, it's more than caviar, it's more than whatever you could think. And that belongs to you. And it can draw you out of anything. It can build you. It can intervene when you're not even there. It can make people talk about you while you're not even there and want to give you opportunities. You know, that's what, for me, it's about. For me, it's about everything we're discussing. It's about tuning into the power of your spirit. Like what he said there. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. We break it down into simple colors to understand. You know, food is there for a reason. It's fuel. We are the only creatures that flavor our fuel. You don't go to the petrol station and have strawberry flavored petrol, rice and peas flavored petrol, bangers and mash flavored petrol. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you did have it, it would weaken the fuel. So why do we choose to weaken our fuel? Eat natural. That's the reality of it. I'm speaking what I want to become. Even though I say it doesn't mean I do it fully. I want, and I'm speaking into it, and I will do it. And you will be the first. I know you will be the first. You will fast and you will not lose weight, because I know he's capable. Not because he's greater than anyone else, because he wants to and he's speaking it. And he will do that. And he will influence by example, not by talk, his world. Because everything he says, as complicated as it may seem, he lives it.
There's a very interesting, another Bible quote. There's a lot of Bible quotes coming through today, people. So they asked Jesus. We're here for a sermon,
Exactly.
So they asked Jesus, what should we eat? And he actually said it's more important what comes out of your mouth than what goes in your mouth. So what we speak, we create, and it's very important what comes out of your mouth. More important than what goes in your mouth, definitely.
Okay, yeah, that sounds amazing. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the spirituality aspect of fasting and how important is that. But many people, when they start, they don't start with that. They start with the fact that either they're going to be losing weight, or literally they only really think, now I'm only doing fasting to losing weight.
That's
for losing weight, right? And we don't know there's any other benefits. And all of a sudden we start to take the fast and we realize all the benefits. So it's, at what point did you guys realize that fasting is more than just losing weight? You know, I mean, I'm sure you probably read about it before. Hawks, what about you? When did you realize it?
I realized it when I realized losing weight cures disease. You know what it is? It's we make things complicated and we don't understand it. If you lose weight, you're curing yourself of certain elements of disease. So there are all those benefits there. Listen, your skin will be amazing. You will lose weight. You will look amazing. You will feel amazing. All those things that we think is just, you know, not really important, they're very important because all these things are leading to healing. If you heal, there is the evidence of healing is in the fruit. How does the fruit look? You can't tell me you're healed when you're still sick. But if I see that you're happy, are you all right now? You look much better. It's the fruits. So what is it that fasting, well-being, things like essential oils, things like, you know, fruits and vegetables and eating right, all these things heal you because they make you feel better. So let's not take away from those things. If you want to lose weight, yes, it's good, but you're also healing yourself. And it's very important because our weight is very important. Do you know that fasting brings you back to the weight that it knows you were the strongest so you can survive?
Yeah. So
every day your body is trying to survive. We have to support our body in that survival, and we don't.
Yeah.
And the support in it is by simplifying our bodies, simplifying our system, so it's not working too hard on unnecessary things. You've got to lose weight. You've got diseases to deal with. You've got toxins to deal with. You've got mind issues to deal with.
Yeah.
But you are concentrating on irrelevant things that constantly consuming. You know what is here? Let's look at it. I challenge anyone, fast, and see how you feel about food afterwards. Go for a decent period of fasting, maybe up to 5 days, and see how you feel about the foods that you miss. Because these foods, you actually realize that you want something that's going to give you, energize you, not weaken you. Why do we go out to a restaurant before we go to a club? And then we go to the restaurant, and then after the restaurant, we don't feel like going to the club anymore. And we're in the club, we can't even dance anymore because you've overeaten.
Yeah.
You know, understand what energizes you, what gives you what you need in your relationship, in your family, in your life. There are foods that help you think. There's foods that help you lose weight. Imagine, there's actually foods you can eat that will make you lose weight. There's things like alkavenom that will kill disease in your body. I've got toxins, I've got disease, what do I do? The doctor's gonna say to you, what do you mean you got toxins, you got disease? I can't see nothing.
Give you some more toxins to put in your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which then are going to create side effects that will lead on to another.
Listen, you don't have to see the problem before you fix it. Am I lying?
No.
Do you know what it is? When you realize you had a problem, you actually realize you had a problem before you realized it.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with disease before it comes. When I done my fast, I had no disease. But in case anything was growing and say, listen, hello, there's no hello. You are not invited. So I will deal with you before you get to the front door.
Yeah.
So what about you? Did you when did you see kind of the more spiritual aspect of fasting, or that fasting was something more?
So for me, I think you've heard how I was quite destructive in that I took a lot of drugs. And I thought I'm just going to do 7 days, and I'm going to do it because if I die, then I die. I'm going to get through it because I don't care if I die. So I'm going to just do it. And I did it. And by the time I got to the 4th day, for the first 2 days, you go through ketosis. So you switch from burning sugars to burning fats. And that's like a superior energy. So you go into that and you get a little bit of an energy burst. But then your mind starts playing tricks on you. And this is where meditation becomes this is when the 2nd or 3rd day I started to notice the spiritual side come in, because I thought, oh, hang on a minute. This guy's popping in and telling me, you're not designed to do this. You're designed to eat. Go and have a little cheeky biscuit. No one will know about it. And I'm like, nope. I don't care if I die. Go on, go and have a biscuit. Just don't tell no one about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with this. And then by the time you get to that 72-hour period and you switch over to burning like light and to exchanging protons, neutrons, electrons with the earth and your surroundings, the connectedness that I felt, like when I had a conversation with my mother, I could feel the empathy I had for her. I could feel like my conversations started changing with people. And then I started to notice that my conversations with people in business started changing. So I'd say probably by about the 4th day, I started to notice that it wasn't just physical. And if I can use this as a stepping stone to get you to try fasting out, yes, you will lose weight if you set that intention at the beginning. I mean, I used to always struggle with these little water pockets just here, and I used to call them muffin tops. When I do a 3-day dry fast, it completely goes, and I'm back down to like single figure body fat. So if you can use that as a stepping stone to show you that this is a lot more than that, you'll become more connected, you'll become more integrated with your surroundings and a lot more empathetic, and I just find it's a lot more peaceful, harmonizing, and you become more unified with your field. So you become more connected, less attached to things, but more connected to everything.
Okay, so unified with your field. Explain what you mean by that.
So we start off as a seed, and the seed is the circle, yeah? And now when me and Hawks are sitting here together now, our 2 circles have got something called a vesica piscis in the middle, which is like a fish shape, yeah? So this vesica piscis shape is a unified field. So when I do eye gazing and certain healing modalities with people, I can throw an emotion in there and you'll smile because I've just thrown a happiness emotion in there. You're picking up on the energy. Or if I was to throw a little bit of sadness in there, you might feel it. Now when I do this with people, I say, why did you smile? And they say, because I felt happy. And I say, well, what about if I was to tell you that I threw that emotion in there? Would you realise when you're walking around that all these emotions and thoughts you're having might not be yours? you might be picking up on another energy field. So when we get more circles and more circles and more circles and more circles, this becomes what's called the flower of life. And if you Google the flower of life, I'd advise you to look at, you might be able to pop a little image of the flower of life here on this video. We're actually a unified field and we're all connected. So when this person feels this, ultimately it's going to ripple through. So by changing and us fasting and doing this here today, we're actually sending out ether and we're sending out a ripple effect that will create a catalyst. To what effect is up to you guys and to how further you guys look into this and want to change and go further with this. But we all live in a unified field. It's like if I was a computer and Hawks is a computer and Daniel's a computer here, we're all connected through Wi-Fi and we can communicate through Wi-Fi. We've all had where we finish each other's conversations, and telepathy is something that I believe is going to come back very soon. I believe that the human language is a poor form of communication and that we can communicate in other ways, like through gut feeling and intuition.
Definitely.
But in order for these gut feeling and intuition and clear senses, we have 9 clear senses, by the way. In order for these to come activated, we need to stop overloading our bodies with food so that we can raise our vibration and to start using our brains properly.
So it's not just about food. Hawks, what else do we need to kind of stop overloading our body with? Because there's many things that we do. So
you know what is emotion. You understand? We overload our bodies with negative emotion. And the reason why, because we don't understand how to release it. It's like food. If you don't know how to release your food, it's going to damage you. It's going to cause disease, it's going to cause toxins. So things like emotions, like you teach on, and you've taught me on, and you've taught many people on, releasing your emotions. Let it go. You know what is? Imagine something it's like your hand and you're saying, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. And then someone shows you how to let it go and for it to come back. And you think to yourself, wow, like these are secrets that we have. The secrets of letting go is in ourselves. We are the ones, like you teach, we're the ones that hold the weight of the pain in these emotions. But really and truly, if we separate the weight from the actual emotion, we realize, you can handle actual emotion without the weight. There is so much more that, it's not just food, it's lifestyle. It's social media. We are on social media to inspire, lead by example. Do you understand? If there was no social media, we'll be on the street somewhere doing the same thing. We'll be on the mountain somewhere screaming out loud. Do you know what I'm saying? That we'll be in the back of a police van somewhere.
Depending where you come from, man. Yeah.
Anyone that will listen must listen. That's the only reason why we're doing what we do.
I think I've been to all of those, the mountains preaching in the previous
I haven't been to a police van.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Stick
Maybe
with
who
us.
knows, yeah.
Well, to simplify that as well is emotion stands for energy in motion. So if that energy is not in motion, then it's stored up. And I did a video probably about 2 years ago about male suicide and how that's the biggest killer on men under 60. And I owned a hair salon for 5 years. And what I noticed is women come in and they're like, oh, I did this the other day. And they share their emotions. Whereas men will come in and be like, no, bro, I didn't do that. What are you on about? And you build that up and you build that up and you build that up. It's like a volcano, because when it finally goes off, it just goes poof. Whereas if you just let that energy stay in motion, then ultimately.
Yeah, and that's what I talk about with my clients as well. That's the most important thing. Once you start releasing your emotions, your feelings, then you start to see the world more clearly, and you start to experience the oneness of what actually is. Because the only reason you are separate from people is because of the beliefs and the stuck energy within you. When you dissolve that, then all of a sudden, now you're my brother. Now you're my brother. Now that person in the street, I feel a connection towards him. And I think with fasting as well, that's one of the things it brings. It brings up everything to the surface, and you have to face it. You have to deal with it. But when you do, and you go beyond it, then all of a sudden you see things clearly. And now the person that used to bother you in the past now no longer triggers you in the same way.
Not only that, but you probably feel a similarity then. You might have been through that.
Yeah. you feel more connected to them. And I know you had this experience and where you felt more, you felt more connected with people after your 40-day fast, didn't you? You felt
I was connected to my world.
Yeah.
You know, it's you. That's why I say to you, you just get to a sense of a deeper connection. And I was connected to those that had nothing. You know, when we fast, we know when we're going to break our fast. We know what we're going to break our fast with. Do you know there's actually people in the world don't know when they're going to find food? They don't know when their next meal is. They have nothing. They're literally looking for green grass to find to eat. And we are here saying, this is how we're going to break our fast. We're fasting in luxury. Doesn't make no sense. You know what? When fasting, give your food that you'd eat to others. Send your Deliveroo to somebody. Because you want it, give it to somebody. Because you desire it, give it to someone that would appreciate that. Fasting is not just about yourself and healing yourself. It's about helping others. It's about learning to lessen in yourself, but to give more to others.
Yeah.
That's what fasting is about.
And this is what I find as well when I fast, and I feel more connected with people in general. I feel more empathetic with people, and it comes naturally. Whereas, naturally I want to help people. So, and what about you? Do you find that as well? Do you find that?
Sorry, guys, that actually leads to my question.
Yeah.
For both of you, for all of us, how can fasting change our world?
The answer was coming to me before you even asked it.
You see, we've led there now.
Yeah.
Guys, you all understand now what fasting's about well-being, about different mantras. You've heard so much different things. Now we want you to do it. Listen, do it by yourselves. You don't have to come to us to do it. Do it by yourselves if you desire, but try it. And on top of it, now we want to let you know how it's going to change our world, and we need you to change our world, because we can't do it by ourselves.
So let's talk about global warming and packaging and plastics. Now, if we was to fast and only eat 1 meal a day, or eat between the hours of 1 till 6, that's roughly a third less packaging on the planet. That's roughly a third less plastics on the planet. That's roughly a third less transportation for foods on the planet. If we was to start growing our own foods, and it's been shown that when we grow our own foods, that energy field is within us, and that food is more nutritional for us because it's not being transported all over the world. So there'd be less pollution in the air from all these big companies and these food companies, Costco, Sainsbury's, Walmart, Asda's. We wouldn't be transporting foods all over the places because we can grow these foods near us. So also on top of this, with autophagy, we'd be utilising a lot of the damaged cells and proteins in our body to rejuvenate, replenish, refresh, and to become the strongest versions of ourselves. So then we're going to need less pharmaceuticals and less medicals. So once we need less pharmaceuticals and less medicals, there's a lot less of an impact on the NHS, there's a lot less of an impact on money going to these companies for no reason, because a lot of the healing that we have capabilities is all within us. And once we start doing this ourselves and voicing this together and saying, hey, hang on a minute, why don't you, instead of try taking this tablet, which is going to lead on to this, why don't you try this herb or this medicine, or why don't you try fasting for a little while? Or why don't you just take your attention and your energy away from it for a little while and place it on a different vibration, and that changes the program or paradigm around that. It switches your attention. Tony Robbins is famous for saying that wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. So if your attention's on a certain crisis or something that might be being pumped out on the fear box at the moment, then you're going to keep recreating that and bringing that energy into you. I don't watch the TV or the news or anything anymore, so it's not part of my reality anymore. When I walk into a supermarket now, people don't ask me to put a mask on. I haven't worn a mask from day one. I've been on flights, I've been on trains. This is not out of disrespect for people. This is my personal belief, and I'm doing it to show you that I'm very healthy. I don't spread anything. I don't have anything wrong with me. I'm 100% healthy at the top of my game, and I'm standing in what I believe in. These are my beliefs, and our beliefs they create our reality. But if you've got a belief that's not serving you, which pharmaceuticals and medication, They can, and if you believe they will, then they will. But for me, it's a piece of furniture in my belief system that I wanted to change. So I took that belief out like a piece of furniture and changed it for another piece of furniture, which was that I could heal myself with other healing modalities and other fruits, vegetables, herbs, and natural things. I'm not saying there's not a place for doctors or for hospitals and health systems, because there is, but I'm just saying it's your belief systems and it's your energy that you're empowering, so choose them very wisely.
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think 100%. I think it's, you know, the world will change once, we people begin to understand how powerful fasting is, how powerful meditation is, and this is what's required. It's because we're living in a place where, where all our emotions are coming up. We don't know what to do with them. We're in a place where there's phones. We're addicted to alcohol, to different modalities, sort of different distractions. And we don't know, and because of this, we're not getting to the root of why we experience what we do. We're looking on the outside for healing rather than looking on the inside. But fasting forces us to look inside. And when that happens and our stuff comes up and we choose to have a different belief system, then the people around us begin to change, and then our influence gets wider and wider. So anyone that goes on this journey is not just going to be changing themselves, but it's going to be helping to change the people around us, because ultimately what I believe is that we're all one. Okay, so every change that you do within yourself impacts everyone. So if I let go of something, if I dissolve a belief system, if I push through a fast where previously I couldn't, then I'm going to help you do the same, and I'm going to help you do the same. And I'm going to help every single person on the planet, and not only that, every single being in the universe to perhaps do the same thing as well at some level. It may be a tiny bit of change, but because we're all one, that's what will happen. So
you've just touched on my answer. For me, this way of living.
We're answering questions before you've even asked them now. We're actually in.
No, it was just for me. It's about coming together. How it would change our world is because we can only do this by ourselves. When we all have something in common, like the way we live, the way we eat, the way we interact with each other, there's no way that we will not come together. If we're consuming less food, there is more food to go around. Starvation is finished. If we consume less food, we have more money saved in our pockets. Poverty is finished. These things are very simple. And we have to go back to simplicity. Everything that we're saying, we can only teach each other. You can't go to a company. They can't download it on your phone and it gives you that experience. We can only teach each other. We have to get back to understanding each other. We have to get back to be able to embrace every single culture, because every culture was blessed with secrets of health. So we can trade health.
we really know what is deep down. We know what's good for us, don't we? But we just have to get out of our way. We just have to relearn or remember exactly what really makes us what true health is, what true happiness is. I think we really have to do that. So with that in mind, if you want to, I'm going to ask you guys, if you want to, because ultimately everyone wants to be happy, right? So how would fasting bring you to that place, would you say?
So for me, it's about changing habits, because habits are generally formed on a 21 to 60 day, that's habit forming. Habits create personalities. Hi, I'm Elliot, and then personalities create personal realities. So when you do something for 21 days, it becomes a program or a paradigm or a personality. And if we see that, we can reverse engineer it. So if we've got a trait that we don't like, we think, hang on a minute, right, do we do the opposite of it, or we take that out of the equation for 21 to 60 days, and you just do it day by day, because we can't think too much about the future, because sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves. So today I'm not going to eat this, today I'm not going to drink alcohol, today I'm going to drink juice, today I'm going to drink juice. 21 days, after 21 days it becomes more of a program. Then after 60 days, it becomes more of a program and a personality. Now, as a personality, I don't drink that much alcohol. My name's Elliot, and I drink more juice. Now that creates my personal reality, because that personality is projecting that personal reality. So sometimes it's about reverse engineering the problems that we've got to find out the cause, and then to create different effects for it. And that's what we're here to, as mentors and to people that we've gone through it, we're here to say to people, hang on, you're 3 days into your fast and you want to go and eat a load of cake, and you're telling me to go and fuck myself. Yeah, I've been there. I was there 2 days ago. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've just done a juice fast last week, and by the 3rd day I wanted to go and eat every pizza and every cake in sight, and my mind was telling me again, and I'm thinking, I've done this before. So I empathise with you. I've been through this, and I've set up certain protocols, and so have you, and this is how we're here to say to you, oh, do you know what, try this is an easier way. We're not here to tell you, we're here to help you remember that there's easier ways and that there's options, and that there's nothing set in stone. So that's my view.
I don't want to be happy.
Are you sure?
I just want to make a difference.
Yeah.
Making a difference will make you happy.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, because that's if I want to be happy, I want to look for myself. But if I want to make a difference, I want to give to others. And in giving to others, I find the happiness. Because we cannot be happy with fulfilling ourselves.
The word beautiful, if you split it into 4 words, it's be you till full. I find that when you radiate something, you help other people radiate it as well. So like you say, I was always very much, I like making people happy as well, but ultimately making people happy makes me happy. But sometimes it is with the fasting, it's about going in yourself and finding out who you are. So until you've come to a level of understanding yourself,
you can't, you cannot.
It's difficult to, because you're talking knowledge, not wisdom.
Within, when I say that I don't want to be happy, it's because I already know where happiness lies.
I know you're already happy, so.
No, but I know where happiness lies.
Yeah.
And happiness is, when we think about happiness, we always think about self. We continue with self. In fixing myself through fasting, I realized that my goal is not for me to seek my own happiness. My own happiness comes from others.
Yeah.
Others always keep me happy, because we only have a certain amount of time in this world. And you know something? What we teach lives on or is forgotten. So my joy comes in knowing that even if I'm not here, I'm still making others happy.
There was a yogi asked a question, how do others make you feel? And he said, what others? And I think you were talking earlier, we're all one anyway, so.
Yeah.
And we are all one, and the oneness of it is why we want to make each other better. The oneness of it is why we're here right now. The oneness is because we want you to be one with us. Listen, we live a normal life. We're normal people just like you. And we're just trying to show a better way of living that we've experienced. Listen, you've seen, between the 3 of us, we've lived the worst and we've lived the best. Have we not?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's nothing within the 3 of us that has not been done. So I don't
know.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
For you guys, maybe. I'm yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, combined. Okay.
Let it go. Be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that's what it is. And when I say to you, between all of us, you may have done more good than any of us, but that you've dealt with that side of it.
And good's a perspective.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then, you understand? It's just that environment. You know, guys, I just want to say thank you, because this for me has been educational and informative and powerful and inspirational, because you guys lead by example. You taught in your speaking is an example. In what you do is an example. And for me, you know what is? Take the fear away from fasting. And what I want you guys to do is please take note. Elliot, please let people know what you do, what you offer, how they can get in contact with you. I want them to understand. Please contact Elliot. Please reach out, because even if it's just for advice or understanding about yourself and your struggles, reach out to him, because what he's doing is amazing. I'm getting involved. I know Daniel's getting involved.
Yeah, I'm going to do your fast as well, so yeah.
Do you understand? So also with Daniel, reach out to him. Find out what he does. Find out how to let go. Find out how to heal yourself through your emotions. Stop being scared. Stop pretending. Stop being scared. Stop the fear. Start the healing. Please, Elliot, let us know, how can we contact you?
So you can contact me at mindbodysoulspiritcoach@gmail.com. I have a Facebook page called R666HA13. You can also find me on YouTube and Instagram at Mind Body Soul Spirit Coach. What I do energy healing. I'm fully qualified Rouhani practitioner. I coach people in fasting, and I also coach people in emotional, mental and physical body stuff. So I can also help you get stronger and fitter, but I generally like to do this working with you 70% mental and spiritual more before 30% physical. So I also have a 7-day fast program that I run. If you'd like more information, that do get in contact. I also do work with breath work and meditation to help connect to yourself and to connect on a higher vibration to other people as well. Thank you.
My website is clearthepath.co.uk, and I do emotional, spiritual healing with people. I work with business people. I work with people of all different types, of all backgrounds. I have a 12-week course called The Art of Letting Go, where I take people through their emotional journey and help heal their physical and mental, and we get into the spiritual realm.
So thank you to my guest on the Superman fast, taking the fear out of fasting. Daniel introduced me to cold showers, and today Elliot is going to introduce me to a very cold lake. And I'm going to go into the lake with my team, Elliot's team, and we're going to learn from each other. You know, I want to bring out experiences. I want to show you guys not just what I know, but what I'm learning, and as I'm learning it. And I'm going to travel the world and find inspirational individuals just like Elliot and Daniel. I'm going to talk, and we're going to learn, and we're going to do things. And because I want to lead by example. What do? I'm just Superman, just like you. Let's have that cold dip.
Yep.
Listen, I'm about to get into this lake with Supermen and Superwomen. They've done the Superman fast. It's the team. Daniel's there. Loyan's behind the camera. Elliot is already in the water. He couldn't wait. You know, we're getting in there. We're doing it right now. Let's.
You just hear the voice. What? You hear your voice just go.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Come on,
Ate!
You're walking like an old boy. You're walking like an
sit down! Oh!
How you gonna shoot?
Listen, guys. It's so cold that it feels like it's burning. It's literally burning. There's nothing we can't do.
What?